안녕하세요. Face, right?
Faith.
Face, right?
Mm.
Lady first. How you doing?
You
good?
are
Dennis.
Dennis?
Dennis the Menace.
You need a better hairstyle for Dennis the Menace. Oh, good. How are you?
Put the pens over there. I play with them. Click. I can hear the click.
Do you have water?
Yeah, I have just tea.
Is that possible?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got it.
We can ask. Mm-hmm.
Thanks. I feel like my throat's gonna close up otherwise. Just anxious.
I'm anxious too.
You do this every day.
Yeah.
Why are you anxious? That's a little worrying.
I just talked about this.
Beautiful woman just next to me. That's why.
So when they put the TV, I have to move this so I can't see the on.
Yeah. I forgot that we're on TV.
That's good. Yeah, I talked about this with my guest just before. It's a strange thing. Once that light goes on, it changes people sometimes.
Oh, really?
Now I'm scared.
I'm not saying you would, but some people, it's really like, oh, okay. And as soon as the light goes on, yeah, I'm fine.
Thank you so much.
For James.
I've got some water here.
Oh, really? For me?
For you.
Thanks so much.
You have a lot. Oh, I see you're hiding it. In case there's an outbreak, I want people to.
Thumbnail one more time. Oh, got started again.
Cheers.
It's on YouTube.
Oh,
yeah, live on YouTube.
You didn't cheers. Does that mean that you're not friends?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot of.
Let's drink.
That's weird, isn't it? Cheers.
Kyle. Matt.
Welcome back. Now it's time for part 2, where we'll be discussing media trends. Every week we talk about different media trends, and we have a live show with our Talk and Talk. With me in the studio, we have Dennis and Faith. Tim can't make it today because his schedule. Instead of him, we've got a new guest, Faith.
Woohoo! Welcome to the show. All right, Tim is no more. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. All right, Tim, are you listening to me? I'm so happy. All
Why?
right.
What's so bad about Tim?
Tim is kind of a smart guy, but always critical. Maybe he's listening to us now. All right. Sorry, Tim.
So
Sorry, Tim.
I
will
miss you, Tim.
All right. Oh.
Go on, you're going to have to introduce yourself.
Well, I'm Faith. I'm from the UK, like James, except I'm from the best part, Wales. I'm not sure if he agrees. I also work with James at Chosen University.
Yes.
And that's it. Nothing special about
You're
me.
from Wales and you're from Wales too?
No. I'm from the best part.
Sorry.
James
the second
is...
part. The second part.
Actually, I do have a bit of Welsh blood in me, so there we go.
Oh, well, I'll give him that.
Nice to see you. All right.
Actually, my dad he lived in Chester, which is right on the border of England and Wales.
Yeah.
So when he was in school, he had to learn Welsh.
Oh.
Yeah, he can say that really long train station name.
I can't even remember all of it.
But still impressive.
If I could read it, I could say it. I forget it. It's so long. It's the longest name in Wales. Well, I think not in the world, but it's one of the longest.
I'm sure it is. It's very, very long.
I'll show you later.
Yeah, it's a town name.
Yeah, it's just a name. It's a train station, basically.
Yeah, but it's a very, very, very long.
A long one sentence.
When you see
Yeah,
it, you'll
just one word.
understand why.
Oh my
It's basically each part of the word has a different meaning for
Uh-huh.
what's in the town.
Uh-huh.
Actually, that's how all Welsh words are, except this is just a very long explanation.
One more time, say what is the name?
The full name? I can't remember the full name.
Ah.
Like the first part is like Clem go 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 go.
Even people
Yeah.
don't remember, right?
Yeah. If I see it, I can read it.
I got it.
All right, let's get going. Today's topic.
Okay, let's
Sorry.
go.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about GFN's COVID-19 news for foreigners.
Mhm.
As you guys know, COVID-19 cases have occurred in Guangzhou, so GFN gets confirmed travel routes of patients in Guangzhou from Guangzhou City Hall,
Mhm.
and then translates that to English for foreigners. The information is then uploaded on GFN's website, YouTube, and Facebook. So, do you ever check that
Yeah, I've
information?
checked already because on Guangzhou town's website there is a kind of very special announcement, emergency announcement, right? Okay, it was quite useful, and on through the social media, okay, I could check.
So, do you check it in Korean, I presume?
Yeah.
Easier.
Yeah.
Check
But how about
Korean.
you, James, and your Faith?
Well, obviously they also send those lovely texts to tell you where all of the people have been.
Yeah.
You don't
Not
get
in
those?
English?
Yeah,
it's in
they're in Korean.
Ah.
So if you can read Korean, it's okay. Which is why I think what GFN is doing now is to try and translate it for people. Right?
That's the
So-
kind of first try. But Gwangju City Hall never
Yeah.
tried to translate Korean announcement into English.
As far as I know, no.
Yeah, I don't know, but
That's what the GFN.
are they doing? Are you doing in Chinese as well?
The GFN?
Are you?
No,
Russian?
no.
I don't know.
Yeah, I can speak Russian, but I can't.
Oh, you can
speak
speak Russian?
Ah,
Oh, so why
Oh, I
are
didn't
you
know that.
translating them into Russian?
but I forgot. My major is in Russian
There-
language,
there-
but I totally forgot it. Okay, only the word I can remember. Какая красивая. Какая красивая means how beautiful you are.
There you are, James. He thinks you're beautiful.
Thank you, Dennis. Yeah, so I get those messages too, the emergency alerts all the time. Yeah, but I sort of rely on my wife to tell me because she finds the information in Korean.
Yeah. Well, that's lucky if you're married, isn't it, James?
Yeah.
Some of us that just live with dogs don't have that, unfortunately. So, but I can speak some Korean, so the emergency messages I can read. But if I am scrolling on social media, I think like you, if I see it in English, I will automatically look at the English first, just because it's easier and
You're
faster.
right.
And the same for you when you look in Korean, even though you can speak English.
If I were in China,
well.
maybe there's some kind of that situation, maybe Chinese alert message I cannot read. I cannot find what the situation going, right? It's so kind of inconvenient and it's not good. So that's why the GFN made a good point. Right?
No, I think they've been doing it very quickly. I think up to date.
Whose idea?
Was it yours?
Your idea. Oh my God!
No, it wasn't-
Congratulations!
no, it wasn't my idea. No, I'm no part of that, but yeah, it is a very good idea.
Yeah. So at this time of moment, I think that the GFN is just plays a really right role in society, right?
Yeah. So I have a question about that actually. So is GFN actually now working alongside with the City Hall in order to update? So they are getting it in real time.
Yeah.
Well, GFN's always been
Yeah.
a part of City Hall.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's GFN is part of the City Hall project.
Oh, that would
The
make
radio,
sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they do work together like that, but as far as I know, the translation has just been taken on. It's not like
the government.
yeah, it's not like
thought to
the
do
City
it.
Hall was asked GFN to do it. I think GFN are just doing it.
No, well, I think it's very useful, especially
you're right.
this past week where we've seen so many new cases.
Yeah, new cases, right? You're right. So maybe Tim is in isolated. No.
Oh, is he? Maybe.
No, I don't know. Are you listening?
Don't worry,
Let us
listeners.
know.
I'm sure Tim's fine.
I'm so scared. Okay, face next week. Come on.
So, do you guys know where the Facebook and website and YouTube, how to find it?
Yes.
Yeah. How about you?
Go on.
I'm just a looker.
What do you mean by how? I go on the internet and I'm already subscribed. I subscribed and I have liked.
So do you
Easy
want to
word.
you want to tell our listeners how they might do it?
Oh, you can go
easy to
onto the GFN Facebook page and you can like and subscribe and you will get regular updates. the same thing if you go to their YouTube page as well, which I think is where we are airing
Yes.
right now,
Yeah.
right? So hi if you're there. So you can subscribe there, and then you'll be able to get regular updates.
Right. Yeah. So as Faith was saying, if you just search for GFN Radio on Facebook and on YouTube, you'll find the page easily. Just subscribe, and you can like them, and you'll get notifications of any new videos or posts that come out, and you can see the news.
What about your website?
The website is gfn.or.kr. So yeah, you can go on there as well, and all that information's on there too.
And I heard that just within an hour, just over 400, 400 viewers just contacted like GFN. That
Yeah,
I think it's because it's very real time, and everyone is trying to keep on top of it. So anytime they see something connected to it, they just automatically click to see what the news is now, because it's constantly changing. I think that's why you suddenly have more interest in people wanting to discover, and they want to know for their own safety as well, obviously.
Well, yeah, I mean, there is a large amount of foreigners living in Gwangju, and many of them don't speak Korean, don't have, wives to translate for them.
Yeah, right.
And so this English news is, it's key for them to be able to get to it. And as you said, there was over 400 views within just a few hours of GFN starting.
Yeah, getting to find out what's going on, right?
Yeah. So we talk about?
That's kind of song request. No?
400 views within just a few hours. I'll put the song request in.
From Dennis. Keeping up to find out what's going on, right? I like my voice. Such a low tone.
Within just a few hours.
Keeping up to find out what's going on, right?
So I'll just Yeah, Dennis, you want to introduce the song, or do you want me to do it?
Can I?
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna have a song break. It's Dennis's request. So Dennis, you want to talk about it?
Yeah, today's I wanted to share the listeners the very special songs by GFN. Nobody compares to it. It is kind of from the Netflix, the famous TV drama, or the voice of I Met Before too. It's kind of from OHT. All right, let's enjoy.
Okay, here it is. Okay, so what we're going to talk about in the second bit. We talked about quite a lot.
Oh no, because now there's so much more we can talk about. Have you not thought about it? The impact of the Shincheonji church, the people reacting to that, the people trying to impeach the president. There are so many facets that have come out, not just about the health.
They're trying to impeach.
You haven't seen the news?
No.
There's a petition to impeach him.
Really?
You haven't seen that? Okay, then don't mention that.
Okay.
But I've read that.
No. Just tell us.
There's been a petition for them trying to get him impeached because of badly managing the virus and not totally banning people from China immediately. But now you've got me doubting whether I've read that. I'm sure I read that. I don't want to say that now. I'm scared.
No,
I can't be on live on radio if I'm not sure.
Just instead, don't say you've definitely read it. Just say you've.
I've heard people criticizing the government.
Yeah. I got it.
Okay, I'll
Just
say
be
that.
less, just
I'll
be
just
less
say,
definite.
yeah, okay. Yeah, but the church as well, and how they've spread.
Can you say?
And also,
Can you say Shincheonji?
Can
you say Shincheonji?
Can we mention the name of the church? Yeah, you can.
Okay.
They've got lawyers, so don't be.
Oh, also, there's have we started?
Okay, so let's keep talking about today's topic. So, you heard a rumor. You were telling me about a rumor.
Yeah.
Tell me a rumor.
Tell me.
I feel like you're putting it all on me now.
Yeah.
I just said that I read this week that there has been some criticism of the government, and there was a petition to try and impeach President Moon, but I am not sure that that's true because you two do not know about this.
Yeah, I've never heard that kind of news.
Yeah, I never heard that either.
But I thought I read that there was a petition, and I think it's more from the opposition, mainly to do with him not banning people coming from China. immediately,
Mm.
and that's the criticism basically. But I'm not 100% sure, so I
Oh
guess
no, I'm sure that
I'm sure there's criticism,
there's
but
always someone wanting to impeach every president, right?
yeah,
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So I mean, if you're saying it's coming from the opposition, I'm sure they're kicking up a fuss to try and gain political capital.
Yeah, some
Yeah.
opponent sides that they always insist, right, kind of
Yeah.
impeachment.
So I'm not 100% sure, but there's definitely always criticism anyway, right?
Mm.
If you're president, no matter
Yes.
what
You
you
want?
do. Do I want to be president?
No.
Do I want to impeach him?
Yeah.
No, I actually think it's been handled very well.
Okay.
Actually,
Yeah, so do I. I'm rooting for the
so that's
president.
why I was surprised to see such news because
Mhm.
actually it's been very transparent. Everyone even they're trying to get
That's the
on
point I
top
like,
of it
transparent.
very very quickly. They're
Mhm.
releasing the news and any outcome in data as fast as possible. They even have 2 set times every day.
Yeah.
So I think they're doing a great job. There's nothing much that you can really blame the government for in this kind of crisis. It's not
There's nothing perfect.
politics or economy. It's real life. It's a virus. It's something that's contagious, and you just have to try your best to contain it. So I think they've done well.
I think I agree with you. I mean, for one, it has been they haven't tried to hide it. I mean, which I guess was impossible because everybody knew the news from China, so couldn't really hide it. But they've made no attempt to cover it up how bad it is,
Mhm.
and they've also, I think as well, they've done well to try and tell people about what they can do to help. I've heard a lot of people complaining about it's an overreaction, asking people to wash their hands all the time and wear masks and stuff. But I mean, what are people supposed to do?
That's
Yeah.
all we can do, unfortunately.
I really quite like your opinion because a few years ago the zero barriers accidents, the all information was closed, right? Now the national crisis and all information are open, right? That's really
No, yeah, I think it's improved a lot. And actually, with all the advice they're given, that is all they can do. They are trying to contain it, even with the transport. We've got all the international students coming now, and actually, I know in Gwangju, they are sending specific airport buses to collect them, so they are not traveling with other passengers, and they will bring them back, and then they will be in their self-quarantine for 2 weeks. So that's another thing that they're doing very well. They're organizing. They know there are going to be a lot of new people coming into the country, and they are preparing for it. So.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing they could say is like, well, just ban everybody coming in, but you can't do that in a modern society, right? You can't stop international travel.
Yeah.
You're right.
I agree, but I also think it would have been a great idea if the world just stopped for 2 weeks. A while ago. Like, if everything just stopped for 2 weeks, wherever you were, and you were just stuck for 2 weeks, let it die out, then we can all come back. That would have been perfect. But like you said, in a modern world, that's not possible.
Yeah, just not possible.
One issue with hot potatoes, now just many countries they're blocked of immigrant just visiting of Korea, right?
Yeah,
Korean,
but
right?
I heard it's not necessarily. It's more of a partial thing, and it's people from Daegu, and I think it depends on the country. So some countries have restrictions on Korean, not people coming from Korea, but from Koreans, which is also kind of backwards because if you're in Korea, it's the same thing. But also not necessarily banning Koreans, but only banning Koreans that have been to the city of Daegu, which is where the epicenter is right now.
So now the news sources coming out, kind of some countries, some cities are banned Korean visiting, right? But even though the Korean government they don't just ban or restrict all other countries' nationalities, right? So people don't like.
Yeah,
right?
Well, I also agree because it's kind of strange because it's the same thing. If you're in Korea, then why should you not be banned, but the Korean should be banned?
It's because
kind of
Korean
backwards,
government has the small power or this kind of power game.
Yeah, it's like you say, babe, it's a strange thing. Like I'm just as likely to be infected as any Korean.
Yeah.
Because I live here. Right?
I also find it interesting the criticism that some foreigners get just for being foreign here, because now sometimes you have the prejudice that if they're Chinese here, that they have got the virus. but just because they're in Korea doesn't mean they have the virus. And unfortunately, if you actually look at the stats, the majority of people in Korea who have the virus and are spreading it are Koreans. So it's just interesting, the thought process. Sometimes it's kind of backwards a lot of the time.
Yeah, I am a little bit worried about actually once this semester actually gets going, and I do have a few Chinese students in my class. I'm not saying I'm worried about them infecting me. I'm worried about the reaction that we might have, and I don't think there'll be open demonstrations or anything, but just I won't sit next to that person.
Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah.
So you have to get kind of a lesson from a Cambodia case. Cambodia Prime Minister, they just didn't ban, right, the U.S. cruise rights. So nothing happened in Cambodia, right?
There's one case.
So only one case.
There
right?
was one I saw.
It's free. Because just one case.
Yeah. 0 cases is better.
Yeah.
But yeah, just one case, and I think that's it. It's finished in Cambodia.
Almost 600 or 1,000 people of cruise, right?
Yeah.
Cruise rights. Nice. So we should have been more open mind to other foreigners.
Yeah, I think it's just not to be scared.
Yeah,
I think it's
right.
just to be aware and not be scared. And I think that's what's happening a lot, especially with social media and fake news. I mean, maybe what I read was fake news. Who knows?
Yeah, right. I think fake news is another virus.
Yeah,
right?
and there are a
So
lot of
scary
myths.
mind is another virus.
I've seen also on social media a lot of things about if you do this, then you can cure yourself from coronavirus and all of those kind of things. They're not true. Like, you cannot do that. But
I think
it's
my
being
favorite one.
spread.
Yeah, I think my favorite myth was about coronavirus was that it was spread by eye contact.
Oh my God! I'm infected already.
Yeah, looking somebody in the eye.
You know, we laugh, but there are people that believe those things, and that's the scary
Should
thought.
be
So
careful
it's,
talking about that.
yeah, we laugh, but unfortunately, when people keep spreading and sharing, I'm saying spreading because we're talking about disease. When we keep sharing those kind of things on social media, people start to not really understand where the truth is and where the myths are, and I think that's a scary.
Yeah,
scary thought.
relating to the myth that there is a kind of cult religion kind of Xinjiang in Guangdong. There's a kind of big castle near Dongnan National University dormitory.
Yeah.
So the Dongnan National University dormitory has a lot of foreigners, right?
Yeah.
So should be careful. Hey, listeners, you're living there, just be careful because a lot of the members of cult religion Xinjiang. All right, careful. All right. So the university is okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're all right.
Okay.
So I wonder, has it spread from the Daegu church to the Guangzhou church?
There was an incident. There was someone that came from Daegu who came to here, but it's not. I don't think there's any
I'm
actual.
a reporter.
Yeah,
Good.
I read the news. There was someone that came from Daegu church and they collapsed in the terminal, but I don't think they were necessarily connected to the church. I think now it's just the fear of the actual Shincheonji church as a whole that's happening in the media right now, and that's what the problem is. So it's also we're seeing a lot of negative comments towards that church, which we all believe different things, and I don't think it's really fair for them to receive that. I'm sure they didn't want to spread it. At least I hope that's the case.
Yeah. Okay, so listeners, we were talking a lot about myths and fake news there, but if you do want to see any real news, real information, you can go and find it on the GFN Facebook and YouTube, and also on the website, gfn.or.kr. But that's all we've got time for today, guys.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're all
too short, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We haven't
Let's
finished.
keep going. 5 minutes, yeah. All right.
Well,
10 more minutes.
You guys can keep talking, but we're going off.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks
enjoy
for
your
having
Sunday.
me.
Okay.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, it's really nice talking with you.
You too.
Really nice.
You're doing very well.
Oh, thank you.
That's why I asked, because I knew she was good.
That was fun.
Yeah, good.
I've got Arlo.
I want to tell our.
Sure.
I have a horrible schedule.
I already asked, but she has a